Hi again, and in today's video we will be talking about safety. Alright, so some of you have asked about safety. So in this video I'll go through the safety equipment that I use. Let's get started with the mask. The mask is full face. I prefer it over the half mask because it gives nice eye protection as well. But of course it's more expensive for those that do want to do it themselves. You can go with the half mask and also the goggles. They don't protect as well with against dust, but it's still better than nothing. Knee pads. For the knee pads, I prefer these because of the hard shell. This way you do have a little bit of protection against the nails if you accidentally come close to them in the attic, because most likely you will. I've also used a frontal headlamp as well because what I find with the floodlights, you have to carry either that floodlight itself, if it's battery powered, so it can get a little heavy, all depending on how big the battery is. And if you're carrying a corded one, then you've got to run the extension cord. You have to worry about not tripping over the extension cord around the attic. I definitely don't recommend that one. I recommend just getting yourself a nice $30 rechargeable headlamp. Doesn't matter which one it is. Most of them come now LED, so that's pretty good because they last for quite a while. I believe I can go pretty much one full work day, so pretty much a 6-hour runtime on my battery, all depending on if it is cold. So in the winter, it'll probably have less of a runtime. These awesome gloves. These are some of the best purchases that I've done, all at Dollarama for $3 in Canada. So I've been trying to stock up on these. They've got an acrylic coating, very, very thick, and so it's definitely good for puncture resistance because I do a lot of attic empties and attic work. So you definitely don't want to grab on and get a nail right in the hands there. So these are really good for that, for resisting that. And the boots. So what you want to have in the attic is the, for Canada, CSA approved boots. What does that mean? Well, at the bottom there's a metal plate so that it's puncture, I'm going to say puncture resistant, not necessarily puncture proof, because if you do step enough, it will go through if the nail is sharp. But definitely a good thing. Also, it's shock proof, because when you're in the attic, again, you do step on electrical wires. If there's any that don't have the proper insulation around the wire, you can get shocked, especially if the electricity is still on, which in a lot of cases when I do attic empties, it is. I have gotten small shocks because the wires were aluminum, so that was never fun. When you're up in the attic on old attics, there are some people that bring the plywood piece. I wouldn't go longer than 3 feet because the longest span between trusses is typically 2 feet, and then you've also got 16 on center. If you go any longer than that, then you're carrying too much wood. It's going to be awkward when you're trying to move around with the piece of wood. It's going to make things longer, especially if you don't have sort of an aligned truss attic that I sometimes see, well, rarely see, because for the most part they're all staggered trusses. So basically the best tip would be to look at the alignment of your trusses so you know how the or the orientation of your 2x4s that are on your ceiling. You always want to double check also when you put any sort of pressure that you are putting pressure on a 2x4 truss and not anything else. For newer homes, it's self-explanatory. You can actually see where you are going. Now that's where you can bring that piece of wood and easily align it so that you're stepping safely and that you're not afraid of balance. I always follow a 3-point contact, so that's either 2 feet, one hand, or at least when I put a knee down, then I have the balance, and so I can sort of do the installation work, and I'm not worried about falling down. When I do get up, I always have the one hand on the truss at all times as I step from truss to truss. Because the one big thing is that there could be that small little 2x4 piece that's sticking out, and then you trip on that, and then you can hurt yourself. So the most important tip is to always take your time in the attic because it always is an uneven surface that you're working on, and so you always want to bring all of your safety gear. Stay tuned for next week as I will be talking about and showing equipment that I use during my attic installation job, as well as during the removal process of attic insulation.